Herrell, the hip hop patriot, and I just want to thank you all so much for giving me your attention, your time, and just being here today. Today is February 9th, year of our Lord 2021, and so many of you have followed me, have supported my efforts, and are making everything just beyond my wildest dreams. And following me to different platforms. And you guys are just a wonderful crowd. You're a wonderful audience. I would say the best audience on the internet or on TV. So I'd like to give some live shout outs to Ann. How you doing, Anna? Rebecca Stafford, it looks like. Kevin Henson, hello. How you doing? And these go really fast on YouTube, so I'm not really used to it all. So just give me take it easy on me. Brian Guerra, how you doing? Cindy Dean, welcome. I appreciate you joining in today. Let's see. Cindy Shepard from Baldwinsville, New York, it looks like. Baldwinsville, New York. James, how you doing? Thank you for joining in. Carmen Cortez, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate it. If you guys could all do me a favor, reach down and press that share button. It'll give you a link to copy. You can copy that link and you can go over to Fascist Book and you can share it over there and really make Zuckerberg and his merry band of fascists and people who like to censor, make them happy over there and let them know where people can find us over here. Mike Davis from Northern Illinois. I myself am from Northern Illinois, from the northwestern part of Illinois, over by the Mississippi River, by Iowa. So I want to show you guys something real quick. So bear with me here. This was sent to me by a viewer of the show, and this is hand painted. And she sent this to me to hang up in the new studio, which we're in now. And this comes from Kim Valnez of South Dakota. And what a beautiful painting, isn't it? What a beautiful hand-painted picture that she painted for here in the studio. And I think it'll look really good on the wall behind me. And I just want to say thank you to Kim for sending such a wonderful painting. So many of you have been so generous, not only in your subscriptions and your monthly donations, but also sending me things like that. It's just a beautiful gift to receive. And it brings me, ladies and gentlemen, to the verse that I wanted to share with you today. So if you're new to the show, by the way, and you're wondering why I'm wearing sunglasses, why am I wearing a hat? Why do I look like this? Well, it's kind of goes along with the name The Hip Hop Patriot. And I started my support for President Donald J. Trump out in the music business, because I was in the music business. So if you ever heard the song Build the Wall, or MAGA Like a Mofo, or Rebirth of America, Drain the Swamp, Live Free or Die, One Race, those are all me, and that's how I got coined the name Hip Hop Patriot. And it was always because I was wearing these sunglasses and I was doing hip hop music. So that's how I got it. Now, if you're new to the show, what we do is we start every show by giving our love, our honor, our attention, and just our worship to God for giving us everything, for giving us this platform, for giving us the freedom to be able to, well, in some cases, maybe not on Fascist Book, but in a lot of cases, we do have a lot of freedom. And that freedom allows us to get the message across, get the word across. And I just wanted to start out the day by reading from Luke 16:10, okay? And it's going to go from 16:10 through 16:13, all right? And this is very important. It says, "He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. And he who is dishonest in the least is dishonest also in much. So if you have not been faithful in the unrighteous wealth, who will commit to your trust the true riches? And if you have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who will give you that which is your own? No servant can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and wealth." And ladies and gentlemen, I really do truly try to live by this. My wife and I, we wake up every day and we pray for opportunities to help other people, whether it be monetarily, whether it be physically, whether it be emotionally. And we're not by any means perfect. Don't get me wrong. We sin every day. That's why we need the golden ticket, which is Jesus. But if you're given a little, then give as much as you can. And not only money, but everything else, compassion, love. For those who take a little and do a lot with it, then they will get a lot in return. And however God deems that to be, whatever he deems it to be, whether it be money, whether it be blessings in your job, promotions, or whatever you get, also give. Because those who give even a little bit for what the little bit that they're given will receive so much in return. So I just wanted to make sure that I got that point across today. It's something that I read this morning, and it really made me smile, and it made my heart very happy. Okay, so moving on. Before we get started today, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to let you know that, as promised, we are in the studio right now. I will give you a full tour of what this studio looks like as soon as it's finished. Being that the Postal Service is run by the government and mostly liberal officials, it's very, very difficult to get packages on time. And I'm still waiting for a few things that I hope to get tonight or tomorrow so I can really finish up here in the studio. So I appreciate your guys' patience. And if you could, again, please share this out and let people know where we are. We're also on Telegram now as well. My personal account there is Jeremy R. Herrell, and my live channel, my public channel, is Live from America, all capital letters. There's a lot of fakers and a lot of fraud out there, a lot of people pretending to be other people. So hopefully we can get that fixed soon, and maybe I can get the my account actually verified as soon as I figure out everything on Twitter. And I also sent one round before we get started with the news. I just like to I like to make sure we keep on the up and up and be transparent with everybody. I've also sent the first round of an email blast out to thousands of you this morning, and I'll send the second round out to the rest of you who have joined the newsletter to kind of give you a little bit of insight of what's going on and all the places that you can find me and what we have coming up. Okay, so I appreciate that very much, and let's get started, ladies and gentlemen, with the news, because we got a lot of it today. Boy, do we got a lot of it today. And let's start out with the impeachment. Okay, so the impeachment is supposed to start today. The fake, phony, daytime TV, reality TV show impeachment that everybody knows will not go anywhere, including Stretchface Armstrong and Chuckles Schumer themselves. They know that this impeachment is not going anywhere. They don't even have close to the votes. Okay, so that starts today, and both sides seem to want it wrapped up by this weekend. Why? Well, because they know it's not going anywhere. All they want to do is have 3 or 4 days in the media to drag President Donald J. Trump's name through the mud and make it look like he's worse than he actually is. Neither side is expecting any kind of conviction, and even President Donald J. Trump, over the last couple days, has released statements through his office, the office of the former President of the United States down in Florida at the Southern White House, and through his top aides and closest advisors. He completely is looking right past this impeachment and gearing up for what's to come after that. And we'll explain that in a little bit, but I want to kind of give you an insight as to how this impeachment is going to go and the rules that both sides have agreed to. Now, President Trump actually came out in a statement last night and said that he was happy that both sides came together and that rules were agreed to on how the procedure was going to take place. And let me break that down for you. So the impeachment will begin with a 4-hour debate. Okay, that'll be today. And during this 4-hour debate, they're going to debate whether or not proceedings should be dismissed. Now, you know that proceedings should be dismissed. I know that proceedings should be dismissed. And even the world knows that proceedings should be dismissed based on the fact that you cannot impeach somebody who is not currently sitting in office. And you definitely can't impeach somebody without any kind of evidence whatsoever. And you rammed through, what was it, like 6 hours? You rammed through the impeachment through the House. There was no witnesses. There was no due process. It was all illegal. It was all despicable and disgusting. You know it. I know it. The world knows it. Now, CBS just came out with a fake poll, like they usually do, saying that 51% of the country want President Trump convicted. I kind of find that hard to believe when he had the most votes of any sitting president of all time and the most votes for a Republican of all time. I kind of find that hard to believe, CBS, but of course, your fake, phony polls always come out to be, lies. It's funny that the AP and that Lead Stories and USA Yesterday and PolitiFake, as I like to call them, it's funny that they don't fact check them. Where's the fact check on these polls, these fake phony polls that we know are proven to be wrong every single election? Remember, they said, oh, President Trump and the House is going to, big, huge blue wave. And all it really was a blue dribble. And the blue dribble wasn't even real. It was completely fake. It was completely phony. It was completely fraudulent to begin with. So there was no blue wave. And the world knew that there wasn't going to be a blue wave. However, that didn't stop CBS, CNN, MSDNC, and the rest of these swamp donkeys from making fake, phony polls, okay? So the first is going to be a 4-hour waste of time today, all right? A 4-hour waste of time today to debate whether or not, ladies and gentlemen, that the proceedings should continue. Now, we know they're going to continue because we know that there's a majority of Democrats, and I know that it's split down the middle in the Senate, but you also have fake Vice President Kamala Harris also sitting in there, who will be the tiebreaker if it came down to that. So they're gonna proceed on after 4 hours of wasted time, 4 hours of wasted taxpayer money, just to be able to run President Donald Trump's name through the mud. Okay, that's going to be the first 4 hours. Then each side will have up to 16 hours. It might not take that long for each side, but they have up to 16 hours, this is agreed upon, to present their cases. Okay, and then after that 16 hours of wasted time on one side, and then plus the 16 hours of wasted time on the other side, which is a total of 32 hours of wasted time for you and I. After that, then there will be 4 more hours for senators to question both sides. Okay, so now what are we up to? 32 and 8. Now we're up to 40 hours of wasted time, 40 hours of time that you and I and the world will never get back. It's a trial of public opinion, and it's really not a trial of public opinion. It's a trial of left-wing swamp donkey and right-wing rhino opinion. Has nothing to do with the American people, because our opinion is he already won the election and we shouldn't have to be dealing with this crap to begin with. All right. So now we're up to 40 hours. But then, ladies and gentlemen, if there's any witnesses called, there can be another 4 hours of time wasted to question and cross-examine any kind of witnesses. So you're up to a total of 44 hours of wasted time. Now, initially, President Donald J. Trump's team, his legal team, had a request in to not hold any hearings on the Sabbath. Because as you and I know, definitely over the last 4 years, Donald Trump has become even closer to God, and he's been giving his honor to Jesus in everything he does, which is the right way to do it. Okay? Now, he's not a perfect man. Neither am I. Neither am I. But when you get closer to God and when you get closer to Jesus, your primary thing is to try to put Jesus and God first in everything you do. If you veer away from that, the first thing you do is come back as quick as you can and say, man, I need help. Jesus, I repent. And I think President Trump has gotten closer to that over the 4 years that he was president than he had over the first, 60 some odd years of his life before he was president. And that happens. That kind of stuff happens. If you look at me 5 years ago, you would have been like, ooh, oh, I don't know about that guy. But that kind of stuff happens. One door closes, another door opens. You know what I mean? Somebody said, I wonder if he's going to use the EO. Well, we're going to talk about that here shortly. So now the impeachment is going to be wrapped up before the weekend, and both sides, like I said, want that. The Republicans want it because they know that they're not going to convict him. The Democrats want it because they know that he's not going to be convicted. They want it to be done. All this is a sham reality TV show to make him look bad. The good thing about President Trump's legal defense is what he's going to do is he's expected to play hours and hours of footage, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe not hours and hours, but definitely a good hour or two of footage of the Democrats calling for violence since the minute President Donald J. Trump was elected for his first term. From his first term on, the minute he was elected by the people, not selected by the swamp like President Biden was, okay? Maxine Waters, Chuck Schumer, Stretchface Armstrong, Pelosi. You had Adam Pencil-Neck Schiff and all the rest of these dirty swamp donkeys trying to call for violence ever since that day. Remember, get in their face. If you see them at a gas station or you see them at a restaurant, get in their face. Don't let them eat. Don't let them have any peace. No justice, no peace. You know that whole thing that they did? Oh, if they go low, we kick them. Remember all of that? So President Trump is going to beat them at their own game. And he's going to actually show them. He's going to do in Trump fashion. He's going to turn a mirror on them. And that's what I loved about his press briefings. And that's what I loved about everything that he did when Kayleigh McEnany was up there, is they actually turned a mirror on the fake news media and on the left-wing hacks, exactly of what they do and what BLM does, what Antifa does out in the streets, considered real terrorism. And the left hates it. Now, the world is going to be watching this, and President Trump is going to have two opportunities here. He's going to be able to show the left exactly where their hate is and where that hate has been coming from and everything that they've called for. And he's going to have an opportunity to show fraud. And now, both sides don't want him to do this. Neither side want him to show fraud. Why is that? Why does neither side want him to show the fraud? Well, because neither side really wants President Trump in there, because they know how popular he is. They know how much of a boss he is, and they know that his following is bigger than anybody's in history. That's why they don't want the fraud shown. But I pray that President Donald J. Trump shows the fraud. I pray that he does. Okay. Ann Smith says, hey, from Montana. How you doing, Ann? Appreciate you joining in. Make sure you let everybody know where they can find us. All right. We're going to move on from the impeachment because I hate wasting. There's already going to be 44 hours of wasted time talking about it to begin with. And then followed up through the weekend, you're going to have all the left-wing media just pining over gushing over it. Oh, look at all the stuff he did wrong. Look at all the laws he broke. Look at all the money that he caused. Look at all the people that died, even though they're not going to talk about anything about Obama and all the people that he killed, all the money that he costed, Dick Cheney, and all the money that he costed the country, and all the lives that he destroyed, and all the people that died around the world because of his actions. No, we don't want to talk about any of that. Let's just talk about President Trump and how he said peacefully assemble to let people hear our voices. Yeah, so we're not going to waste any more time on that. We're going to move on. We're going to talk more about the corrupt, selected by the swamp Biden residency, okay? And they are this week, ladies and gentlemen, it's been confirmed that they will start removing all U.S. senators who were confirmed. I'm not U.S. senators, excuse me, U.S. attorneys who were confirmed by the U.S. Senate in President Trump's first term. Okay, this will apply to 56 confirmed U.S. attorneys, and this will be facilitated by the Justice Department. Can we say dictator? Can we say dictate much? Because that's exactly what that is. That's exactly what that is. Because you're saying that these people have no allegiance to the Constitution. You're saying that these people have no allegiance to the law in which they're there to enforce and to by the will of the people. So you're basically saying that these people are illegitimate and that they shouldn't be there to begin with. So the Biden administration has already ordered the Justice Department to start removing 56 U.S. attorneys who were appointed under the Trump administration. Okay. Now, I don't know what happened to your guys' live chat. I seem to not be able to see it. So if I don't answer any of your questions live, don't hold me to it. It's just because I don't know what happened to the live stream. Now, a lot of people, by the way, before we move on to the next topic here, a lot of people say, why do you interrupt and talk to so many people? Well, because I wanted this to be an interactive show. I didn't want this to be like every other news show on the internet or on TV. I want to be super interactive with my people. I want to be able to answer their questions live if I see them pop up. I want to be able to respond to things that people say when I see them pop up. That is why I do that. Okay. I want this to be a very interactive, very fun, very entertaining, but very fact-driven show. So that's why I do that. All right, moving on. This actually really sickens me. I posted this on Telegram this morning, and this makes me sick. Former White House interpreter who would be the interpreter down in the little corner of your screen for people who are hard of hearing or deaf. Every time Kayleigh McEnany would come out or every time President Trump would come out, we would see an interpreter. Well, the former White House interpreter says that the Biden administration canceled and humiliated her after she was outed as a Trump supporter. And then it was followed up by an expose piece by Time Magazine, who actually, and these, by the way, this is the same people. This is the same magazine, ladies and gentlemen, that just put out that story about basically putting it in detail how the left stole the election, and they were like gushing over the fact that it happened and they were happy that they did it. Yeah, this is the same magazine that just put that article out, and you should definitely watch that if you haven't. We talked about it on last week's show. So the Time Magazine then puts out an expose on her, telling her name, which is Heather Mushaw. She's a 41-year-old married mother of four. Okay. Supposedly she lives in Maryland, and they published her personal politics saying that she has ties to far right extremism. Now, her and her family and her children are getting threats of harm and death. Threats of harm and death because she worked for the Trump campaign and she was a supporter of President Trump. This is what the left is doing. They call for peace, they call for unity. Meanwhile, they're calling you and me and everybody else around the Trump campaign terrorists. And this is exactly on a micro version, they do this on Facebook, right? They didn't ban me forever on Facebook, but what would they do? They would ban all of you. They would suspend all of you for sharing anything of mine. And it's the same exact thing. All you got to do is blow it up, enlarge it a little bit, and look at it at a larger scale. It's exactly what the left is doing right now. Instead of going completely after Donald J. Trump. See, Donald Trump is not who they're after as primarily. That's just a person that they can point it to. Primarily, they're after you and they're after me. That's who they're really after. They're after the voters. They're after where the power is, and the power lies in the people. And they do it on Facebook. They do it on Twitter, and they're doing it in the government. Constitution be damned. Bill of Rights be damned. All your rights, everything that you were given by God, damn those. That's how the left looks at it. They don't want you to have free speech. They don't want you to have your Second Amendment. They don't want you to follow somebody like President Donald J. Trump because it goes outside their house of cards. It goes outside their norm. Okay? And I'm not afraid to say it. I'll say it, like I said, until I am dead and gone. They will never silence me. And I think that's why my supporters and my viewers and my followers are so dedicated to this broadcast and every broadcast that we do, because you want people to fight with and for you. And I think that's why we're so strong here. So I think it's disgusting what they're doing to Mrs. Mushaw, especially considering her line of work and the good that she was doing for people. And of course, calling for her death and harm towards her and her family. Sickening. Mother of four. So let's continue to talk about this. There is a new war on terror, ladies and gentlemen, but it's not the war on terror that we're used to. It's not about war on terrorism that's, bombings and school shootings and just massive, attacks. No. There's a new war on terror, according to the White House and according to the residency of the Biden administration. And the new regime, selected by the swamp, not elected by the people, we all know that now. They have a new war that they're waging on domestic terrorism. Okay. Now this is in their words, however, this doesn't mean, and this is actually me saying this doesn't mean people, like I said, who blow people up and who shoot and who do school shootings. No, this means you, and this means me. Okay. Now this is their own word. Their targets for fighting the war on domestic homegrown terrorism are the following: quote, homegrown violent extremists, violent conspiracy theorists, here's one that really got me, reality denialists. Reality denialists, ladies and gentlemen. That would mean me, I guess. And insurrectionary microaggressionist extremists. They got a name for every one of them. And they got an acronym for every one of those too. So let me read through that list again, who the Biden administration is going after on their new, who they're waging their war against on their new war of terrorism, okay? The war against terrorism. And it is homegrown violent extremists, violent conspiracy theorists, violent reality denialists, and insurrectionary microaggressionist extremists. Now, you couple that together with what Marco Rubio is trying to do and the bill that he is introducing that says that your Second Amendment rights can be suspended immediately if you're being investigated for any kind of terrorism. Remember, we talked about that 2 days ago? Or actually, I think it was yesterday at 11 o'clock we talked about that. Nobody's talking about that bill that Marco Rubio is putting in there. What a rhino he is. What a swamp donkey he's turned out to be, huh? And now like I said, it was a Democrat narrative. And now you see this coming from the White House. Reality denialists, extremists. Wouldn't that be me? Wouldn't that be you? People who do not believe that the election was actually real. They're going to call you a reality denialist, extremist. And they're going to target you and they're going to put you on a list. And not only will they be able to suspend your Second Amendment rights, but they will also be able to put you on no-fly lists. They are going to beat you into submission or die trying. they're going to use the full power of the federal government, much like the Obama administration did, and they are going to target American citizens for their opinions, for their voice, for their thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever seen the movie Minority Report, well, here you go. This is it right here, guys. We're in the mix of it right now. This is sickening and this is disgusting. And I'm going to tell you what, the only way to fight it is to continue doing what you're doing and for me to continue what I'm doing. Do you know how much, I wish people knew how much harm we all put in the way of our families and in our way, just by speaking the truth and by putting our thoughts out there and literally expressing our feelings and our thoughts towards things. We're putting ourselves in harm's way every day. And I'll never stop. I will never, ever stop. I'm taking President Trump's advice. Never stop, never surrender, never bend, never break, never quit. So pretty soon, you never know, I might be the next Seth Rich. Wouldn't that be something? One day you guys will wake up and you'll find, oh, Jeremy Herrell slipped on some ice and fell on a bullet that was on the ground and went through the back of his head. I might be the next Seth Rich. But here's the difference between me and a lot of people. I know that I've already given my whole body, life, and soul to Jesus Christ. So nothing that these people could ever do to me, no weapon formed against me will ever prosper. And that's why I say that at the end of every show. Courage is contagious. And boy, I caught some courage. I caught some courage watching and following the people that I do, especially President Donald J. Trump. So, ladies and gentlemen, forget BLM out there destroying buildings, destroying lives, and destroying businesses. Forget Antifa out there ripping down statues, having autonomous zones, shutting down streets, shutting down the economy. No, that's not homegrown terrorism. That's people speaking out about oppression. But you wearing a red MAGA hat or wearing a shirt that says stop the fraud or anything like that, stop the steal, or never forget with the F that looks like the two lines of the voting graph on election night. Boy, you're a terrorist. So watch out. Okay. Speaking of Antifa, let's move on with some more Antifa news. Remember John Sullivan of Antifa? You know, the guy who stormed the Capitol and broke in and recorded the whole thing with the CNN photojournalist who was also committing insurrection. Yeah, we don't hear about them, right? But we do know that John Sullivan was arrested. Now, the prosecutors there actually wanted him to stay in jail. But the liberal judge said, no. Not only is he not going to stay in jail, but we're actually going to let him out on his own recognizance. He's not going to have to pay anything. So he had to pay no money to get out on bail. Okay. Now he is facing charges of trespassing and storming the Capitol and being on federal grounds where he didn't belong and this, that, and the other. However, ladies and gentlemen, part of his bail, part of the conditions of his bail is that he is not supposed to be on social media. He's not supposed to be on social media. He's not supposed to be attending rallies. He's not supposed to be attending events with Antifa or anybody else. However, he broke that. He broke that rule. He broke that condition. He got on Twitter and he started conversing and setting up more rallies and more events to fight fascism. Okay? He already did this. So the prosecutors called for him to be jailed because he broke the conditions of his bail. Yet another liberal judge swoops right in and says, no, this doesn't warrant us putting him in jail. It doesn't? He broke the conditions of his bail. Meanwhile, we got the guy wasn't it the guy, Cowboys for Trump or whatever, who's still in jail in D.C. right now because he refuses. He's a reality denialist extremist. He refuses to say that Biden won the presidency. He refuses to say that he believes, I should say, that Biden actually won the presidency, so they're keeping him in jail. You see the double standard there? You see how that works? People who actually go out and destroy things, ruin things, bust things, break things, call for violence, nothing happens to them. Meanwhile, people who just won't agree with the Biden administration at all stay in jail and get no bail. Unreal. Still faces charges, though. He still faces charges. But yet, even though he violated his conditions, we're good. We're good. Now on to some good news. You ready for some good news? I am too. So former Trump aide Paul Manafort, okay, we all know that he got pardoned by President Donald J. Trump. Well, the state of New York is trying to prosecute him now. Because he got pardoned, they're mad. They're big mad. don't like the fact that people get pardoned, especially by Donald J. Trump. So the state of New York is trying to prosecute him now. But too bad, the highest court of appeals, the highest judge at the Court of Appeals in New York said, no, can't happen. You're not going to prosecute him. It's double jeopardy. Everything that you're trying to charge him with is the same thing that he already got pardoned with. The state of New York is saying, yeah, but pardons by the president are only for federal crimes. No, not if it's double jeopardy. It isn't. Not if you're trying to charge him for the same crimes that he already got pardoned for. So Paul Manafort gets another win. Again, like I said yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, it may not seem like we're winning because of all this bad news that we're hearing and all these draconian rules and laws that the Biden residency is trying to put into place. But what you're seeing is the courts that Donald Trump placed judges in work for us. You're seeing states and governors of red states starting to work for us. And we're seeing pushback against the Biden residency and big tech when it comes to people like Florida, when it comes to people like Texas, when it comes to people like South Dakota, who are no longer going to follow any executive orders if they deem them to be unconstitutional or if they hurt their state in any way. You're starting to see people push back and you're starting to see winning. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is another form of winning. Want some more good news? Let's talk about some more good news. One of the only people that I like on Newsmax, Greg Kelly, he spent some time with President Donald J. Trump this weekend in Mar-a-Lago golfing. Thought that was nice, right? President Trump has Greg Kelly out and they have a good day golfing, and he tells Greg Kelly how much he likes his show and what other news anchors that he actually does like on Newsmax. He doesn't like a lot of them, by the way. So Greg Kelly comes back and says that President Trump does not feel like, look like, or sound like a man who's retired. He said he looks well. He said he looks youthful. He says he looks energetic. He sounds energetic. And that he is already building plans, ladies and gentlemen, just like we've been saying here on the show. He is like 100% invested, dug in building plans for what he's going to do after this impeachment trial. Rallies. Again, that's the big one right there. Primarying out these rhinos and these swamp donkeys in 2022. He still leads the Republican Party as much as Liz Cheney and Mitch McChina and the rest of them don't want it to happen. And Mitt Romney, mom jeans Mitt Romney. Have you ever seen him in his mom jeans, by the way? It looks so weird. He pulls them up over his hips like women do their jeans, and he looks like he's had babies. But I'm not going to go there. That's why I call him mom jeans Mitt Romney. But all these people, they'll tell you that President Trump doesn't run the party. But the people who are in the party that actually know better, they know. They know that the GOP belongs to Trump. They know that the voters belong to Trump. And Greg Kelly says that he's not only looks happy, looks energetic, has no worry at all about this impeachment trial whatsoever. And that quote, he is working the same way he worked in between apprentice seasons. Gearing up for the next apprentice season is the same way that people around him see him working again for what he calls his great comeback. And we all know, ladies and gentlemen, that he was the author of a little book, a little tiny book that was called The Art of the Comeback. And if anybody can do it, it's definitely him. And he's also talking about making his own social media company. Now, I don't know what the truth is behind that because one of his closest aides, Jason Miller, said that it's on the table. I really see President Trump actually investing himself and maybe even money into an already established social media company rather than building his own. I know he's got all the money in the world, but it takes so much time. And I know that Freedom Social Network or Freedom Fan is the actual name, hasn't dropped yet. I was hoping it would drop this weekend, but they did. However, if you're on Facebook still, and you can go to Freedom Social Network's Facebook page that they have up, they actually did drop a commercial, an ad, a wonderful video ad of the network. So I urge you to go watch it, and maybe, just maybe, with the work that I'm getting ready to do with America's Voice News and others who are close to President Trump, just maybe you'll see him on Freedom Social Network when that comes. Again, patience is a virtue. And just like the patience that you had with this studio and the patience that you continue to have with the growth of this show, it will pay off. I know we live in a world where we want everything right now, but our patience, our tenacity, our determination, our soul, our will, and with the armor of God, we will come out on top. and we will experience what too much winning feels like. And it isn't going to be all the way to 2024. You're going to start experiencing it in just a month or two when President Trump comes back out and really leads this party and leads his people into a whole nother form of winning. Remember, he said the best is yet to come. And ladies and gentlemen, I live by that. The best is yet to come. Make sure you go and visit jeremyherrell.com every single day for updates, new podcasts, new videos. The store will be back up online tomorrow, I think. I maybe even by tonight, with new designs, new shirts. And if you can find it in your heart, or you have the extra, please consider becoming a monthly donor. It helps the show grow, and it helps us get out on the road, and it helps us hold people accountable face to face. So I appreciate it. And if you can't, just continue to keep watching and sharing the show. That's what we're here for. We're here for the good of everybody, and the best is yet to come. Remember, there are right ways, there are wrong ways, but there's only one Yahweh. So stand up tall, keep your shoulders back and your chest out, and keep your head up high, because you are a child of God, and no weapon formed against you will ever prosper. We'll see you tonight for more Live from America at Live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, right here with your host, the ever so humble, God-fearing, and God-loving host, Jeremy Herrell, the hip-hop patriot. Have a great rest of your day, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you tonight. God bless.